He was the first African to cross the Atlantic unsupported. That meant spending 76 days alone in a 7-meter rowing boat, crossing 5,500 kilometers of ocean. Now that wasn't enough for Peter van Kets. One of the world's greatest living adventurers went on to reach some of the highest, driest, windiest, coldest, wettest, most beautiful and most miserable parts of the planet. Big business pay him big bucks to help them reach their most daring goals. Now he's going to help us do the same.
Success. We all want it. But what does it look like? I've met many people in my life and I've worked with many businesses, and I can tell you that not one of them wants to fail. We all want to succeed. So over the past few years, my business and I, as a team, have gone out to try and study what are those significant characteristics and significant predictors of a person's ability to succeed. And we have come up with a little formula, and I'm going to share one or two of those things with you now. So we've studied books, we've studied academic papers, we've looked at different individuals, and we've learned from them. But mainly, we've taken the expeditions that I've been on, and we've taken some of those critical lessons and put them into that process as well. As a professional adventurer, I've been to, as Justin said, some of the highest, driest, windiest, wettest, most beautiful, most miserable parts of the planet. And I've learned a great myriad of things. Picture this scene. It's minus 52 degrees centigrade. Your tent is failing. And without it, you've only got a few minutes to live. You're 500 kilometers away from the South Pole and any form of safety. You're way out of your comfort zone. What you do next will determine whether you survive or whether you die. Now, we know that we currently conduct our business and personal lives in a turbulent, dynamic, and often harsh world. So how do we achieve and sustain true success? How do we adapt to this change and thrive in it? And how do we fulfill our purpose? In our studies, we have concluded that over the past 5 decades, the most inspirational leaders have been those leaders that have shown great vision, that have surrounded themselves with visionary people, and that have been purpose-driven. Your story that you're going to tell one day is determined by this one thing. So Harvard Business School did a study on successful people. And at the end of their study, they came to this one conclusion, that it doesn't matter whether you've got a big dream or a big vision. It doesn't matter whether you have come from a top socioeconomic background. The one significant predictor that they found in a person's ability to succeed is this one point here. Nyamazela, grit, fussbait. And we at the leading edge concur.
Welcome to Gurus.
Good to be here. Yeah.
So, why?
I suppose, Justin, that's a question that I get asked most in my life, considering some of the things that I've done. And it's a complicated question because I could answer it on so many different levels. But if I had to take it right down to the root, you'd probably think I'm quite selfish. So I do what I do because that is the vision that I have for my life. And I know that if I'm doing that thing that makes me feel alive with the right purpose behind it, kind of everything else will fall into place. And when I say that, I'm actually saying terms and conditions apply.
Yes, I'm sure there's a great list when you have a wife and a child,
yes,
and
very much.
there's a lot to lose here.
Yeah, so motivation. for instance. So kind of picture the scene again. So you're sitting on your sled, you're in the storm, it's minus 52, and you don't know what's going to happen in the next few minutes. And so what motivates you to get up, to move, to survive? And for me, it's predominantly been around the team of people that I've surrounded myself with. And what would they say to me to get me up, to get going, and to move and to survive? So my motivation is really around my team that I've surrounded myself with. My solo row was called, the documentary was called Not Alone, because it's not about me, it's about my team. And so obviously the most important parts of my team are my wife. She's an integral part of what I do, and my daughter, Hannah. In fact, I asked my daughter, Hannah, the other day, I said, Hannah, what do you want to do one day when you grow up? And she looked at me and she said, Dad, I want to become an extreme rock climbing ballerina.
and that's the personal vision, right? I love that, because maybe that is a whole new category your daughter's going to invent, right?
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, she loves dancing and she loves rock climbing.
Yeah,
marry the two.
But that's it, right? Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in following your bliss, what you've done is all these incredible accomplishments that have inspired so many of us, right? So in following deep down what it is that you want, you get to bring this gift to the world.
Yeah, it's absolutely something that I'm deeply passionate about, because, I think once we get out of our comfort zones, and many businesses are like that. I mean, I can compare a business to a normal expedition, because the same kind of universal things are happening around us. We go through the storms, et cetera, and we've got to be able to handle those things. So for me, the big thing is what motivates us as employees, as a leadership team, to achieve that vision that we've got for our business. And there are many things that we could put in. And
for you, it's purpose. I mean, purpose is the ultimate motivator, isn't it?
Absolutely. If the difference between you and I is when I go to work on an expedition, the chances of me not coming home are good, if I don't put the right processes, if I'm not prepared properly, if I don't plan meticulously, and especially around those storm areas, that can take your life instantly.
Now, Peter, you talk a lot about grit, and we know from the Harvard studies that grit is showing itself to be more important than IQ, than virtually any other personality characteristics. We're seeing this with children who are grittier tend to be much more successful. So how do we marshal this grit? For those of us who are struggling to get through that obstacle, to overcome, how do you create grit?
Passion. It's what drives you. So you as an individual sitting here today, or out there, are going, okay, so what drives me at my work? When I wake up in the morning, what is the thing that gets me out of bed and makes me want to do what I do? And so for me, that is all around passion. And it's different for different people. So your passion may be, we've got to achieve this goal by a certain time, and if we do, we're rewarded, et cetera, et cetera. For us, for me and for us on some of the expeditions that I've been on, especially the big expedition races, was that will to win. So my driving, my passion during those big races, 5,500 kilometers or 900 kilometer races, have been, I want to win the race, and I want to break the world record, and it doesn't matter what that journey throws at me. I will be able to overcome it because I'm so passionate and so determined to do it. So the thing that really enables grit, nyamazela, fast-bait perseverance is that passion that we have towards achieving the goal. Now, and if we don't, we're not going to make it.
Now, passion is this word that we use a lot in the corporate world, right? You've got to be passionate, and apparently it's got nothing to do with having more office romance. So when you really, and I love going back to the etymology of words. Passion, of course, comes from the Latin meaning to suffer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the passion of the Christ. It's the suffering.
I don't mind the blisters and the deep lesions deep into my hands and the boils on my backside. Sorry about the description of this. And I don't mind getting up every hour and a half for 76 days, 24/7. Because I want to win the race and because I want to break the world record, I'm prepared to do that.
So it can't be a nice to have.
No, it's not a nice to have.
It can't be like, oh, that would be cool if I. It's got it. You are so galvanized. Like this is
it's got to be that important to you.
Yeah, and the modern trend with people is that we want to achieve success, but we're not really prepared to put up with the hardships. And especially young people. So they come out of school, they've had a good education, they go to university, they come out, they've got these great degrees, they've worked hard to get them, but now they expect, and I'm generalizing here, and I think a lot of us do it, we expect to achieve great things, but we don't want the hardship. And I do not know, and I can challenge anybody, tell me a great story, not a good story, a great story that does not come hand in hand with hardship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this is, one of the things that concerns me of some of the self-help movement. Do a visualization, affirmation, boom, it can all be yours.
Yeah.
Anybody who ever accomplishes anything of any value has overcome difficulty. But you're not going to want to overcome that difficulty. Anders Ericsson, the 10,000 hour rule. I mean, it's 10,000 hours to get really great at anything. You're not going to do that because it's tough unless you're really passionate, unless you really want it. It can't just be because, that would be nice, it might pay me a good salary, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just not enough.
That's not going to cut it, no. It's got to be, it's got to be a personal and a professional thing. They are extremely linked to one another. So if we're passionate about something, we've got to be passionate about it in both our personal and professional lives. They are ultimately linked to one another. The way we work at home has a direct influence of what we do at work and vice versa.
So what would you say to anybody out there saying, I'm not an adventurer. I'm in a kind of a bit of a dead-end job. It's not that exciting. I mean, how am I supposed to summon passion and a sense of purpose for this?
So find that thing that you're good at.
Yeah.
And find that thing that you perhaps love. And then once you found that thing, it may not happen now. I mean, some people only get it in their 30s, 40s, even later.
Take Colonel Sanders KFC. Was in his 67, I think, when he decided, actually, I'm passionate about chicken.
Imagine
this
that.
show is not brought to you by KFC.
Yeah. So I would generally say to them, go and find that thing that you're good at.
Yeah.
And then find that thing that you're passionate at. And then just pursue it and never, ever, ever, ever give up on it.
Oh, man. And look at the expression on the face when you discover it.
Yeah.
Look at the expression on the face when you have to go through all that suffering and hardship and difficulty. You come up with a smile on your face because you're doing what you love.
Yeah. And it's not all about hardship. I mean, there's amazing things that happen as well. And we could sit here all day talking about it.
Well, of course there's amazing things because you've discovered your passion.
Yeah.
You've found what you love. That's the lesson for us.
Well, I think that's what we all should be seeking out. It's that thing that makes us feel alive.
Peter van
And then just
Kets.
pursue it.
Thank you for inspiring us to
Absolute
find
pleasure.
the thing that makes us alive.